Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to the Danbury Ice Arena on a sunny Sunday afternoon in Danbury, Connecticut. It is time for the NWHL on Twitch. Hi, everybody. Alongside Erica Ayala, I'm Phil Jubileo, and this afternoon, the Connecticut Whale are still searching for that elusive first win of the season. They come into play with a record of 0-10-1, with just one more weekend of games here in Danbury, Connecticut after today. And for the final time this season, the Minnesota Whitecaps come in. They are 6-3-2 through 11 games played, currently in second place behind the unbeaten Boston Pride in the NWHL. Erica, an exciting game here yesterday. It was the Allie Thunstrom show in the third period. Saw a little bit of everything. We saw fantastic goaltending in the first 40 minutes of play from Brooke Waleko in particular, who ended up having a 34-save effort. Her best game of the season, has had back-to-back very solid games in net for this Connecticut team. Amanda Levier pitching a shutout on the other side. But the real story, as we talked about yesterday on the broadcast, it was the Allie Thunstrom show. A natural hat trick all in the third period. The empty netter capping things off. Also scored a shorthanded goal, so you get even strength, shorthanded, and the empty net goal. And she was just on another level in the final 20 minutes yesterday.
100%. And when I spoke to one of the head coaches for the Whitecaps, Rhonda Engelhardt, she said that Allie Thunstrom, her speed is her gift. And that certainly was on display, but it was more than just Allie's speed. That certainly put her a leg ahead. But it's also just that, she has played with that level of confidence, with that level of tenacity since she's been playing hockey. And that's something that Allie said she is glad that she's able to bring to this Whitecaps team that is struggling with consistency.
In particular for Thunstrom, the past 4 games have been quite a boon for her. She had the hat trick yesterday, but during this recent stretch, 9 points on half a dozen goals in the last 4 games. Megan Payson had a good game with 2 assists. Audra Richards had a helper yesterday, the former Metropolitan Riveters standout in her second year, and she's on a 3-game point scoring streak as well with 3 goals and 5 points during that stretch. No point streaks for this Connecticut Whale team having been shut out yesterday. We will see Sonia Shelley in net, and she was equally as good the last time she was in net. At the start of the month, she had a big game against the Metropolitan Riveters, just giving up 2 goals, stopping 23 of 25 shots, and she also had arguably her best game as a pro against this Minnesota team back in October, a 42-save effort in a tough 3-2 loss.
That was a very difficult loss. The Connecticut Whale had a lead, Phil, in that game, but were unable to contain the Whitecaps, who just the night before had put up an 8 spot on the Connecticut Whale and did not want to go back to Minnesota without the full sweep. They got 2 goals in the last 2 minutes to win that game.
A good come-from-behind victory that day for Minnesota. And we talk about Sonia Shelley and how well she played. Think about that. A rough game, such a rough game the night before, and was able to come back out and have such a stellar effort. That really shows a lot of gumption, a lot of moxie. And the Whale are going to need every bit of that this afternoon and some offense from somewhere to get their first victory of the season.
Indeed. They're still looking for someone to show up as an impact player for this team. Right now, at least as the roster is, we haven't seen someone rise to the top, but that's going to happen soon as the Connecticut Whale, we know they want that first win.
All right, now both teams are on center ice as they will get set to introduce the starting lineups for both clubs. Today is also the DIFD game here in the NWHL in Danbury in particular, the Do It for Daring game to raise funds and awareness for mental health awareness, and it's something I'm familiar with, having broadcast Quinnipiac hockey. They have an annual game whenever the Bobcats play Cornell, and then obviously it has transpired to here as well, in a fantastic cause, a great cause that everyone should be aware of, Erica.
Absolutely. We've seen the NWHL do this year after year. It's something that we see in all of hockey, and that has been embraced here in the NWHL. But I also want to give a shout out to Madison Packer. Unfortunately, her family and her friend circle have dealt with mental health issues and have had people that they have lost. And she, as of last year, right around the All-Star break, Phil, started wearing a hat for warm-ups for the Kyle Pavone Foundation. That was one of her friends growing up back home. So we know that not only between Do It for Darren, but also with Madison Packer being in the league, Anya Packer, has spoken a lot about mental health and wellness. So I think that, again, this is a great opportunity to have the NWHL continue to support those efforts.
And certainly follow the Whale today on social media, in particular at Connecticut Whale on Instagram, at CT_Whale on Twitter, because I know there's been some chatter going on there as well. Quickly a look at the starting lineups. We'll give those to you as soon as we come back, the national anthem, and we'll step aside momentarily and have the opening face-off right after this. You're watching the NWHL on Twitch. Time now for a look at the starting lineups. First, we begin with the Minnesota Whitecaps. Amanda Levier getting the call in net once again. This is her 12th appearance of the season. She's been in net all year long. A record of 6-3-2 with a 2.62 goals against average and .912 save percentage following yesterday's shutout. On defense, they'll go with the former Connecticut Whale defender Amanda Bouye, paired with veteran Lisa Martinson up front. Haley Schmid centering Nicole Schamel and Megan Lawrence. Meanwhile, for the Connecticut Whale, they will go with Sonia Shelley, the former St. Lawrence netminder, in goal. This will be her 10th appearance of the season. 0-8-1 is her record with a 4.03 goals against average and an .876 save percentage. The top line of Emma Pickles Vlasic starting up front along with Kayla Menigan and Grace Kleinbach on defense. It is the captain, Shannon Doyle, paired alongside Hannah Beatty. Shorthanded lineup once again for this Connecticut Whale team, Erica, going with just 4 defenders, and we'll see if and when the fatigue factor kicks in with that quartet.
Yeah, I think that was something that you just saw, that the Connecticut team was unable to hit another gear. Perhaps that was the fatigue factor, and so they need a strong start, but they also need to find a way to maintain their quality of play throughout the game. So that's a balance, Phil, right? That's a balance for a team that still, I don't think, has figured out what a full 60-minute game looks like for themselves. We'll see how they do this afternoon.
They will need a 60-minute effort. At the very least, they're going to need Sonia Shelley probably to steal a couple of points for this Connecticut team. It felt yesterday like Brooke Waleko was well on her way to doing just that after that 21 saves second period in which she was so fantastic. But Allie Thunstrom had other thoughts in her mind. Puck is kept in along the center point area, skated down the right side and shoveled in deep by Vlasic. Behind the net, here's Menigan. Pitched up the boards to Beatty at the left point as we're underway here in Danbury. Lobs his shot into the corner, and it comes up the wall as the Whitecaps, clad in the black with white and blue trim, look to clear out. They did get it to center ice, but Doyle there to poke it back in. And the Whale will make their first line change here in the opening minute of play. Whale looking to pressure a bit on the forecheck. Some good work along the wall, and it's kept in there as it snapped back the other way as the puck rides up along for Sarah Hewson. And she'll backhand it toward the corner. As Kendra Broad behind the net, the pass is cut off. And it's skated out to the neutral zone by Schamel. Part of that top line, and she'll fire a quick one in on net as Shelley hangs on 1 minute into this first period.
And so far, so good for Sonia Shelley. She's had a little bit of a break here, as have the Connecticut Whale. In general, they were not in action last weekend, and she, of course, not playing in yesterday's game.
Meanwhile, Obsidian Jeff in the chat saying, let's get another hat trick, Thunstrom. Well, that would be quite the weekend. I would guarantee Player of the Week honors if she does just that today, following the hat trick yesterday. As the puck is worked around back to the right side, Anderson of Minnesota over now for Lauren Barnes in the corner. Sam Donovan tried to work it down low in front. Pass is broken up, but Minnesota able to maintain control of it at the left point. Here's Winnie Brown. Chipped down the wall and saying hi to everyone in the chat, tuning in here today on Twitch. We've got both games in progress right now. You've got Boston up at Buffalo, a team, the Pride, still unbeaten, but they were taken to overtime last night by the Buffalo Buttes. First time that Boston has been taken out of regulation. Meanwhile, a lot of folks in the broadcast tuning in, chatting here in the early moments of this first period of action, and we want to hear from you, so feel free to fire your questions and thoughts in the chat. Erica and I are both monitoring. We want to hear from you throughout the broadcast, and during intermissions we may type an answer but during the game we'll chat as Doyle comes across the line. Sharp angle try goes over the head of Levier and out of play with 17:47 left in the first period.
I think we have some celebrity sightings here in the building, Phil. I believe former Whale assistant coach Sarah Ogaldi is here.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's going back a couple years ago.
Yeah.
With her on the staff as the puck is poked away and now taken out by Richards through the neutral zone. Richards in across the line, has a bit of a step, and she gets moved off the puck by Shannon Doyle. Richards has it poke checked away, stays heavy on the puck. Sharp angle try in front, and they score on the rebound. Minnesota gets a quick one. 2 minutes and 29 seconds into this first period. Why not? Another goal for Allie Thunstrom right there on the rebound. It's her 10th of the season.
Allie Thunstrom, as you see, Audra Richards really made something happen there. Although, I don't know, it looks like maybe Rosenthal went through the line first. I'm not sure anyone knows what really happened there, but I'm pretty sure Audra Richards got the assist there. We'll see what we get as the official call here. But Thunstrom, before the game, talked about her 3-goal performance, but really talked about that ping off the post. Felt that was one of her better shots of the season, and just found it a little ironic that that's the one that didn't go in.
Yeah, that was ripped. That one had a lot of mustard on it. So the Whitecaps get an early goal as it's cleared out to center ice. Shamel to the right side. Here's Lauren shooting one off a stick. It was Orlando's stick. And the puck goes out of play with 17:08 left in this first period.
Gladys Knight in the chat asking, why is Thunstrom so good? Well, I'll tell you, I might have an answer for that. She is an avid fan of Duncan. She's a big Duncan fan, and as a matter of fact, we spoke earlier today. She made the bus stop for Duncan after the game yesterday. I said, well, when you get a hat trick, you can probably, direct the course.
Yeah, you can ask for whatever you want at that point. She chose Duncan. Why not?
It
could have been Chipwich's, right? Chipwich's for all.
But she must have checked the AccuWeather forecast and knew they were in the clear to make a Duncan stop. And I told her, maybe you get another hat trick today. Maybe you make another Duncan stop. She seemed to like that.
Galtieri with a hard low wrister in on goal that Levier hangs on to, and it's 1-0. Minnesota still with 16:39 here, early moments of this first period. They're crediting Richards with the goal.
Interesting scoring.
I don't think that's accurate.
Not quite what I saw. Almost positive Richards got the assist, which for anyone that keeps up with the Founding Four podcast, I owe some Audra Richards jerseys. They're coming. They're going to get signed by Audra. She had no assists last year, Phil, so we made a friendly little wager there. And she reminds me every single time she gets the opportunity.
Well, she got another one here today to extend her point streak, and so did Allie Thunstrom on that first goal. We'll see if and when they correct things. There was this was last season, and it was never corrected. And the game happened in Stamford, which is why I remember it. And it was against this Whitecaps team. Sid Rossman, of course, 2 years ago was the Connecticut Whale goaltender. She went back home a season ago to play in Minnesota, which, basically meant you sat behind Mandy Levier because that's what Mandy Levier is all about. And just basically playing every minute of every game. But in Stamford, the second time that they played, Sid Rossman played the third period of that game, and they never put her in the box. And I don't think it was ever corrected, to the best of my knowledge.
Wow. Well, stats man Mike Murphy, he'd be able to tell us for sure. Mike is doing some amazing work with the league this year on stats, and so he knows the technicalities behind all of that.
Yeah, and it could be correct now.
Right.
We're not looking back. Sid Rossman not playing in the league this year, so not in the forefront of our minds.
But big shout out to Mike Murphy, a.k.a. the Stats Man.
I know he's in the broadcast. He gave us some kind words.
Always does.
At the start of the broadcast. He called us the Dream Team.
I'll take it.
I certainly will. Those are very kind words. As Broad looking in front for Sarah Houston. The pass was intercepted and cleared out by the Caps. Dumped back in by Taylor Marchand, but a bit too far along the wing for Broad, and we're going to get a stoppage in play and offside with 15-12 left in this first period with the Whitecaps up 1-0.
Well, regardless of who the actual goal scorer is, expected the Whitecaps to start off early. They were not happy with how they played yesterday, and they know they have inconsistent tendencies this season. That could spell trouble for the Whale if they too don't find that other gear.
Puck in the neutral zone, and once again the Whale have to find themselves coming from behind. They have scored a first goal only once this season, and that resulted in a overtime loss for them. So it's not something that has happened very often. Hasn't happened often this year. I don't think it happened more than once or twice a season ago. Pressure coming as Evangelist takes that puck away, flipped out to center ice, coming off on a change with Schwensfire. She lost her stick. Meanwhile, Rosenthal will move it back over to Baldwin along the near wing side, tries to flip it up the boards. Schmid in the neutral zone, swings it right for Lawrence, right on the tape. Lawrence looking down low for Shamel. Evangelist had her defended well. And Shamel takes it all the way toward the line and broken up, regained by Shannon Doyle. Flips it out to center, looks to spring Emma Vlasic. Oh, what a great pass right on the tape. Tries to drop it off for Menigan, who was astride late. And the pass was intercepted by Rosa Leva, who gets swung down behind the net. Coming over is Kayla Menigan. Looks up top, finding Shannon Doyle. Doyle makes a nice move around Anderson, then stumble, try to backhand it in front. Puck is cleared out to center, and it's Anderson for the Whitecaps. In across the line, Wines fires a shot. Kicked away by Sonia Shelley. Orlando's side of the net will jam it toward the corner, was looking for Doyle. And Doyle pressuring her former teammate Sam Donovan along the wall with 13:35 left in this first period. 1-0 Whitecaps. Barnes trying to hustle in front. Good back pressure coming from Grace Kleinbach, one of the better forwards on defense, or a defensive forward in this league. And the centering pass intercepted and cleared out to center ice. Kayla Menigan had it pressured away. Rosa Leva taps it ahead to the right side. Here's Sam Donovan from straight on, wristing a shot that goes wide. And now Thunstrom jumps in. Muscles out toward the corner. Here's Thunstrom, backhand pass in front. It went just past Barnes. And now out to the neutral zone with it is Kleinbach with just Martinson back. But the rest of the Whitecaps coming to help. And Kleinbach will just shovel it toward the corner as Amanda Bouye will take it. Over to Donovan. Bouye and Donovan both on the shorter side of things, but they both can motor through the neutral zone. Good speed for both. As the Whitecaps look to establish offensively in the Connecticut zone. Thunstrom had it broken up, taken in the slot. Richards, oh, what a shot. That was hard. Off the target, put back in on net. On the rebound, that time it was Payson, who had 2 points yesterday, looking to get our first goal of the season. It remains 1-0 Minnesota with 12.5 to go in the first.
The Connecticut Whale having difficulty managing the Whitecaps as they did yesterday.
Unlike yesterday where, while the Whitecaps established a lot offensively, it was really all Allie Thunstrom. They had zone time, and we saw that kind of late in the second period throughout the third. We're seeing it here through Minnesota early and often. And now Martinson drops it in front. A one-timer in on net. Good save made by Sonia Shelley, and that was Richards cutting in the low slot.
Yeah, Audra Richards looking hungry early. Well, I guess I think she already has a goal. We're not really sure, but
right now she is credited with the goal.
But she wants more. We want some mo. We want some mo. Shout out to the Richards family that I understand is watching from Minnesota. Anyone else watching from Minnesota or anywhere else for that matter, thanks for joining us on Twitch.
Buckle on the left side. Are we going to have squad mode again?
I believe we're in squad mode. We
Are
started,
we? Okay.
Yeah, we had the later games today.
Oh, yeah, so we start right in squad mode. So you fans watching are watching both games on Twitch right now, which is fantastic. There's only 5 teams in the league, so we can't have 3 games at once. Perhaps when there's ever expansion again, you get all 3 games going on, it'd be madness.
Oh, man.
Here's Galtieri with a little wrist shot, kind of a little shot fake there. Throws it back in front. Nobody home for Connecticut. And Megan Lawrence will skate it out through center ice and across the line. Looks to spring Shamel down the left wing, but had a little bit of trouble with that pass. Now coming over is Schmid. Got stood up or checked that. That was Winnie Brown toward the corner with 11:10 left in this first period. Oh, that should be a penalty. Shannon Doyle looked like she closed her hand on the puck and pushed it back to Sonia Shelley, who hangs on with 11:11 left in this first period. 1-0 Minnesota on top.
Ooh, Phil, I'm sure Buttes fans from season 1 are covering their ears on that. But I agree with you. I think maybe what saved her and Doyle was able to sell this is that she was falling. So it's like, oh, fall, slide, puck.
And it would have been, if it was anything, it would have been a delay of game penalty, not a penalty shot, because it was not in the crease when that took place. Of course, everyone remembers season 1. It was in the crease, and thus a penalty shot and a game winner for Hillary Knight. The puck is cleared out to center ice. Donovan able to get it back, but comes across offside with 10:56 left in the first.
But, that penalty in season 1, I believe, was called on Harrison Brown. But he ended up making good for his career. Got 2 wins after that. One with the Buttes and then one with the Riveters. So I guess all's well that ends well, at least if you're Harrison Brown.
Absolutely. He retired a winner. Won 2 cups and set off for other pastures. He's doing a lot of great advocacy work right now after finishing out his pro career. Here's Sam Donovan trying to work toward the slot, broken up. Back along the near wing side as Casey Anderson got it over. A little give and go at Maddie Evangelist, and now here's Anderson through center. Casey Anderson swings it in off the wall. Coming after it along the left side is Schwensfire. 10:18 to go in this first period. 1-0 for Minnesota. Shots are 8-3 for the Whitecaps. Shannon Doyle gets it back at center ice, makes a move around Donovan, but catches up to the puck along the boards, has it hacked away by Rosenthal. Comes back for Hannah Beatty. Nice little chip up the wall to get that away. And sent up the left side for Kendra Broad, try to poke it ahead. Finding Sarah Hewson out in front. The pass went behind Jane Morissette. Contained at the point by Doyle. Her shot deflected wide in the high slot by Broad. Pressure coming along the wall by Hewson as she ties up Megan Pazon. 9:40 to play in this first period. A little 2-on-2 battle working along the boards. The puck squirts out toward the circle. And Minnesota gets it out to center as Richards flips it. Here's Thunstrom angling in for Richards in front. Fanned on it twice. Nearly ran over Sonia Shelley. Connecticut can't clear the zone. There's Amanda Bouye looking out in front. Swept to the boards in the corner by Doyle, who gets it back. Now facing pressure on a good forecheck led by Richards in Minnesota. Back to Hewson. Fails to clear. Contained in the zone. Regained again by Richards. Thrown out in front. That got through. Good save by Sonia Shelley. And after giving up the early one on the rebound, Erica, Sonia Shelley's had some good saves.
Absolutely. Has been able to rebound herself and be exactly what she needs to be for this Connecticut Whale team.
Yeah, sometimes you give up that early one. It could be a long afternoon for whoever's in net. Here's a little wraparound try. That was from Lawrence. Stopped nicely by Sonia Shelley as it was poked over. Connecticut now out through center, led by Kayla Mennigan. Flipped in across the line. Mennigan gets it back, splits the D. Oh, trying to cut back to the forehand and could not get a shot in on goal after making a nice move to split the defenders. Here's Shamel back the other way. A little run and gun here in Danbury, Connecticut, as Orlando will swing it up the far wing wall, and that one should die well shy of the corner. There will not be an icing here.
Seeing a little bit of skill there for the Whale. They're just not able to finish. That's got to be the next progression in this game, and quickly.
Winnie Brown, cross-ice pass. Shamel throws it on goal. Save made. Rebound. Diving is Shelley, and she hangs on to it with 8:01 to play in this first period. It's 1-0 Whitecaps. You're watching the NWHL on Twitch. Back in Danbury, Connecticut, 8:01 to play in this first period. It's 1-0 Minnesota on the goal. Credited for the moment to Andra Richards, although it may not be hers. We'll see if that gets changed later on. On the right side, Evangelist looked to dump that puck in. It was kept out at center ice. Shamel centered across the Whale line. Doyle gets it back near the corner, facing pressure coming from Lawrence. Cuts around the net, gets it out of the zone, but Winnie Brown will lunge after it and backpedal into her own zone. Now for Sydney Baldwin. Baldwin looks to go cross ice once again. Timing the pass out was Lawrence. On the right wing side, looked to drop it off. Good poke there. And Evangelist still on the far boards, gets upended, but gets a clear with 7:20 left in this first period. Physical game here in Danbury. We saw some, probably about as close to fisticuffs as you would get late in that third period last night. Certainly tempers were beginning to flare between the two teams.
Indeed, indeed. And, I'm okay with the Connecticut Whale playing a little more physical. If that's what's going to keep them engaged in the game, keep them sharp I think they need more of that. Sometimes they seem to just be gliding through the game, Phil.
All right, now it's Minnesota gliding through things, out shooting the Whale 12-3. They're gliding in a good way, getting some good offensive chances. Sonia Shelley, 11 first period saves unofficially, has been rock star solid. That one goal she did give up was on a rebound. Nice poke in the neutral zone by Galtieri, who steals it, lobs a shot that comes in high. Now jumping in is Taylor Marchant. Pinches toward the corner with 6:25 to go in this first period with the Whitecaps up 1-0. Cleared to center for Lauren Barnes. Has Anderson along the left wing, picks it up in the Connecticut zone, tries to get it by Marchant. Now a shot that's knocked down in front on a good little stick block there by Orlando. Poked ahead, out to center ice come the Whale. Kendra Broad and across the line, drop back off. Down the left wing side, it's Sarah Houston. Her centering pass broken up by Thunstrom, who's off to the races. Chips it up the right wing side. Defended nicely by Hannah Beatty. And now Broad gets it back along the left wing side. Broad waiting. Has Doyle. The saucer pass off a stick. It does get through. Doyle shoveled down low in front. Here's Houston with a chance, and that one stopped by Levier.
What a stop there.
She tracked that puck real well. Now Doyle lobs a shot, and that one nearly ended up under that corner, but missed by a few inches, and it ends up out of play.
Levier saw that first shot. I don't think she saw that one coming in from Doyle.
That shoulder came up a little bit late. The first shot that came in, and it was a good little play by Doyle to get that to Sarah Houston. And Houston did what she needed to do. She tried to move to get Levier caught out of position, but Levier in her fourth season in this league just tracked the puck so well. And gave no angle.
What I like about how Doyle played that is that sometimes you'll see defenders maybe not even go for that puck. It was kind of a 50-50 puck, and maybe she retreats.
There's Vlasic, and she scores! Emma Vlasic rips it top roof for her 5th goal of the season, and this one is all tied up.
Woo-wee. Pickles, and if the way they're going down the line is any indication, then Kayla Mennigan on her birthday might have picked up that assist.
Happy birthday, Kayla Mennigan, and here comes the Brass Bonanza at 14:38 of this first period. There was a lot of traffic in front. That was a good look there by Emma Vlasic to pick off the top shelf on that goal. But the Whale had defenders in front of Levier, and you need to get bodies in front. You want to score goals, you're going to score below the circles. If you're a team like Connecticut, they're not going to beat you with big shots from the point very often, as Minnesota comes offside, so you get the greasy, dirty goals.
They're doing a much better job of getting bodies in front. You've seen them miss that final pass a few times, but even the fact that there are multiple players in the area, in Levier's space, is something that, again, we haven't seen consistently from this Connecticut team.
Puck in the neutral zone, swung back to the line. Whale looked to play it up the middle. It was broken up by Schamel. She'll glide in down the left wing side. Schamel, oh, what a move! Schamel shooting one, and it was partially deflected by Shelley, who got a piece. Whitecaps keep it in on a turnover. Good recovery by Evangelist to poke that away to get it to center. And now the Whale have a 2-on-1. Down the right wing side. With it is Anderson. Walks in, shoots, and she missed high. Was trying to get Levier to come up and make that save and maybe let up a rebound. But now here is Winnie Brown in the Connecticut zone. Drops it off to Schmid. Firing one. Looking short side, and that goes wide. Anderson gets it clear to center ice, and Baldwin will track it at her line.
We've got a game, folks. We've got a game. And also just interesting to see that twice Connecticut now has gone high on that stick side, Levier, but it was Vlasic on the glove side, high as well, that was able to get that goal.
And the assist does go to the birthday lady, Kayla Mennigan, her 7th point of the season. That does tie her with injured defender Jordan Brickner. 7 points to lead this Whale club. 4 minutes to play in the first period with the game tied at 1. So we will not see Amanda Levier get back-to-back shutouts this weekend. And now the Whale, or the Whitecaps, looking to get a crooked number on the board to snap this 1-1 tie. Swung out in front. Nice play to cut over by Beatty to get control of that puck. Gets it back up top. Doyle with a low wrist shot. Oh, that was a good pass down low in front. Sneaking in on the backside was Houston, but she tipped it wide. Now Doyle across for Morissette. Tapped it to some open space. Anderson will drop it back for Minnesota for Rosenthal. Skate centering pass. Barnes finds the puck and across the line. Drop back. Donovan, a shot deflected with 3:15 to go in this first period. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just excited here. I see in the comments we have Emma Vlasic's aunt from Scotland watching.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to the Vlasic family.
Now Mennigan, backdoor pass to the left wing side, and Kleinbach pushed the shot wide. Now a wraparound try in front. And Levier got a piece of it before the Whitecaps were able to rifle it out of the zone. We're going worldwide, Erica.
Worldwide. Yesterday, someone watching from Japan I saw in the chat.
That is fantastic. And we've got Scotland tonight.
There you go. And shout out to Gladys Knight, who gifted a subscription to Emma Vlasic's aunt.
Oh, very nice.
I love this community we have here.
The generosity.
'Tis the season.
It certainly is. Happy holidays to everyone watching on Twitch here this afternoon. Meanwhile, through the neutral zone, Taylor Marchant. Marchant from the wing lobs it in on Levier, who gloves and holds on with 2:18 to play. Game tied at 1 here late in the first.
The Connecticut Whale, they gave up that first goal, but Phil, they've been able to wake up. We saw Sonia Shelley buckle up, and now the Connecticut Whale forwards are starting to find a little bit of rhythm. They're starting to connect a little bit more, have numbers forward. That's what they need here. Now, can they keep it? That's the next thing that we have to ask ourselves as this game goes on. Will they have some consistency?
Nicole Schamel working toward the slot. They shoot and score, and Minnesota snaps the tie. Haley Schmid got to it at the doorstep for her second goal of the season.
And that was just one of those goals where there were a lot of people in front charging net, and it wasn't that it was necessarily a strong shot, but it just got past Sonia Shelley. She was looking one way. The puck then shuffles to her stick side and into the net. I think it might have bounced off her skate, maybe hit the post and in.
So Schmid on the top line this weekend with Jonna Curtis, having been injured last week, unavailable for these games, and the Caps are back on top. Minnesota 2-0-1 in their last 3 games. By the way, some comments from the chat. Fait accompli saying, I'm glad this has turned into a game. It really has. It's been fun in this first period as the shot from the low slot pushed a little bit wide. Schamel getting the lone assist on that goal. And we're seeing other scoring other than Allie Thunstrom here this weekend. So I know you had talked with the coaching staff of the Whitecaps, and they were hoping to get offense from some other sources, and they've seen that today.
Yes, indeed, they have, and that's something that they know they have the talent. It's just a matter of if they can put everything together, and Allie Thunstrom thought a little bit of that because they have some new players, and a little bit of that just time. It takes time to get that cohesive unit together.
Orlando having trouble keeping the zone, so she'll shoot it back in on a late offside call, and Sydney Baldwin had the puck, but the Whale managed to force an offside with under a minute to go in this first period, as the faceoff will come all the way back into the Connecticut Whale zone with 59.8 seconds to go. Shot in on goal from the right wing side. That one sticked away by Sonia Shelley. We are under a minute here in this first period. We have Flangerfeld in the chat. Flangerfeld watching the AWIHL. So that's the Australian Women's Hockey League, as the puck dumped in front, stopped there by Shelley. If you are not adverse to having a completely reversed sense of time, watching the Australian Women's Hockey League is always a good way to go, because they are on the other side of the planet. I've worked with Australian clients. The time zone, that gets me nuts.
Yeah.
But
it's also summer there, though.
It is. That's yeah, I wouldn't complain about that. I got to be completely honest. As someone who likes warm weather yet chooses to live in Connecticut.
And commentate on hockey.
Exactly. Kleinbach from the circle shoots, and it's dropped off by Levier, wanting to kill off some more clock, and she's successful as the horn will sound, ending the first period. What a first period here in Danbury, Connecticut. The two teams going back and forth, and it's 2-1 for the Whitecaps through 20 minutes of play.
I think that it's been back and forth. That's the kind of pace to the game we wanted from yesterday and didn't get. Both teams not really able to find anything. the Whitecaps were able to wake up in the third, but this game a lot better. We saw even in the chat, fans liking the back and forth. They say, of course, that means that a Connecticut Whale goal is next. We'll have to wait and see if that happens in the second period. But better game from Connecticut, better game from Minnesota.
So first period is in the books. We'll stick around in the chat for a little bit, and we'll come back and join you for the second stanza of this one through 20. It's Minnesota 2, the Connecticut Whale 1. You are watching the NWHL on Twitch. Originally credited to Audra Richards as it's backhanded through the crease. Whale looked to start out through center. While on the right wing, Kendra Broad came in onside alongside Sarah Hewson, but they do give it to Richards, her 10th of the season. Or check that, Thunstrom, her 10th of the season, assisted by Richards, who gets the lone helper. Vlasic and Schmid, the other goal scorers in this game, as we come up on 2 minutes gone by in the second period, with Minnesota up by a score of 2-1. Here's Broad, winds and holds, looks to come down the right side. Sydney Baldwin, nice play with that stick to dislodge the puck away from Broad, but Broad regains it in the corner. Now to Galtieri, she gets cut off, and Minnesota with it out through center ice. Audra Richards in across the line, shot block, got it back, threw it in front, and Shelley with the save.
Audra Richards a little bit put out that she wasn't able to keep that puck, but she's got a point here, and she looks like she's looking for a goal, Phil.
Well, she is a goal scorer. That's what she's all about. If you remember her rookie year very well, all goals, no assists, as Erica alluded to back earlier in this game. Here's Haley Payne with a chance, and she didn't see much ice time yesterday. I think her only action was serving the too many skaters on the ice penalty, but gets a look here, and you've got to use everyone in the second of a 2-2. You just got to play them just to give some players a breather.
Indeed, but good on Payne to get a shot on goal. You got to take advantage of your opportunities when you have them.
And a face-off coming inside the Whitecaps end. Emma Vlasic against former Whale Sam Donovan. Now Donovan thrown out of the circle. Richards will lose the face-off to Vlasic. Back at the left point, here is Orlando. Driven off the boards, cut off in behind the net. And threaded out to the neutral zone for Richards. A little pressure coming from both sides, and now Kayla Menigan with it, and we get an offside whistled against Minnesota with 17:02 remaining in the second period.
And we see that, just a score update for those of you who are not in squad mode or are watching this. It's Boston leading 3-1. Just about 5 minutes left in that second period.
By the way the league has worked today anyway is that the penalties are rationed off, and apparently all the penalties are being called in Boston, or in Buffalo, with Boston and Buffalo. No penalties have been called yet in this game as it's knocked out through the neutral zone. Richards poked it a bit too far. Taylor Marchand will come back for it. Retreats quickly behind her net with 16:35 to go in the second. And here come the Whale from right to left. Up ahead for Vlasic. Skates in onside, tried to drop that back, nobody home. And it was cleared out to the neutral zone. Now skated ahead by Bouye. Bouye in across the line. Bouye swings it across. She had Donovan. It skips back for Lisa Martinson. Hardlow wrister out in front, and it never did get to Sonia Shelley, but she was doing the splits on her left side, trying to get to that puck as the Whale dump it back in. But Martinson able to quickly retrieve it and clear out the center. Beatty moves it over to the right wing side as Connecticut would have been offside. And they are offside as Doyle came in with Sarah Hewson way in the zone. 15:58 remaining in the second. It is a 2-1 game for Minnesota.
Thank you for those who were patient as we were dealing with some internet issues, it seems like, Phil, but we are back.
Good stuff. Took a moment or two. Things happen. But we're good to go. And thank you, folks, for tuning in on a Sunday here on Twitch. Lawrence tried to chip that in. Beatty got it back, curls ahead. Played off her skate, taken in by Galtieri. Now to the right wing side, over to Beatty. Chip toward the corner. Beatty got clipped, no call. Puck in behind, then Minnesota will start off with it. Finding Schmid to the left side. Here's Schamel. in the corner. Over to Lawrence's shot save made by Sonia Shelley. As Beatty tried to poke it up the board. Casey Anderson's there. Gets it for Doyle. And Shannon Doyle will move it up the wall to Schwensfire. 15-10 to play in this second period. 2-1 game, all the goals in the first period. Whitecaps on top for the moment. Minnesota looking now for points in 4 straight games. 2-0-1 in their last 3. They've won 2 in a row. They beat Metropolitan 5-2 last Sunday. And they were victorious yesterday, 3-0, and a hat trick from Thunstrom. Puck tied up now, dug off the boards by Galtieri. Feeds it ahead for Anderson. Tries to jet through. Takes it across the line. Forced a bit wide by Baldwin. And Baldwin smothers her behind the net as Minnesota will get it clear. A little bit too far for Anderson of Minnesota. Racing back for it is Taylor Marchand. But kept in the zone and a little hit along the boards. But Orlando able to feed it ahead for Vlasic. 3-on-2 here for Connecticut. Vlasic across the line for the trailing Taylor Marchand. Looked to steer it in front. And it was broken up nicely by Rosenthal. Vlasic gets it back along the sideboards. The former Yale Bulldog trying to dig things off the wall as we approach 6 minutes gone by in this second period on Twitch. Kleinbach there. Threw it out in front. Levier steers that aside. Flipped up the boards. Orlando thought about jumping down. Instead, plays it out to neutral ice. That allowed Minnesota to get it clear. Brooke Whiteland set. Briefly had it at center ice, and now Rosaliva's cut off, and here come the Whale as the stretch pass a bit too far. Icing waved off. There was nobody home. Mennigan knocked down behind the net. They were just letting everything go this afternoon.
Letting them play and fall to the ice.
There's a chance from the slot. Good blocker save made by Sonia Shelley off the snipe attempt by Richards, who gets it back down low.
Had her stick hugs for a little bit there.
Chipped out of the zone. Delayed offside call here, and the Whale get to it, but it was touched by Payson, and the faceoff will come out to the neutral zone with 13:12 to play in the second period. 2-1 Whitecaps.
So, Phil, we talked about this yesterday. We have 8 players, including the 2 captains for the All-Star weekend festivities announced. Team Packer versus Team Dempsey. But for those in the chat watching on Twitch TV, who from these 2 teams would you like to see in addition to the 8 named at the All-Star game? No Whitecaps named as of yet.
No. Well, you would have had to have a defection of sorts from year 1 join the Minnesota Whitecaps.
We've seen a few defections, but no original
exactly
NWHL players. Of course, Boulier and Audra Richards both played here on the East Coast in their first season. Boulier here with the Connecticut Whale, not here in Danbury at the time, and Richards with the Riveters in New Jersey.
And, of course, the big one, Amanda Levier, the former Buffalo Butte.
That's right. I don't know. Levier seems so natural here with Minnesota. I almost forget that she's an Isabel Cup champion.
She is, exactly. Backing up McLaughlin there, who had that 60-save effort in Season 2.
And if you ask a lot of those Buttes, they don't get to that final without Levier's performance against, at the time, the New York Riveters in that semifinal game. That was a Riveters team. Amanda Kessel had joined up. They were looking good, but they were unable to get past Amanda Levier in the semifinals at Barnabas.
Now, you think about that. I mean, it kind of goes against the grain a little bit when you have that type of playoff series to split your goaltending like that and to be able to do it as successfully as Buffalo did. A little pileup along the board. Schwensfire comes out no worse for wear, finding Anderson in the neutral zone. Casey gets stopped at center ice, and here come the Whitecaps from left to right in those black jerseys. Centering pass out in front. Lawrence tried to fire it on net, steered away by Shelley.
And just to clarify, no, the NWHL All-Star Weekend is not limited to original NWHLers. They are just honoring the 8 original NWHLers by announcing them already as All-Stars, as well as 2 of the 8 as captains. So yes, Gladys Knight Thunstrom absolutely can be an All-Star.
Oh, sure.
I'm thinking she should be, especially after yesterday's performance.
I would imagine she's well on her way to getting an All-Star nod. Obviously, Jonna Curtis is having another great year. Amanda Bouillet's having a fantastic year. Now, there's a solid 5 or 6 players from this Minnesota team that will get consideration. My goodness, a penalty has been called.
I believe
High
it was.
sticking.
Yeah.
First one of the game, and it's on Connecticut's Kayla Menigan, who will go to the box at 8:46 of the second.
It was a quick off that face-off. He got a few sticks and bodies tangled, and that was a pretty easy one for the officials to call there.
So Kleinbach to the box.
And folks are talking about a fan vote. In the past, we have had an NWHL fan vote, but that has not always been the case, so we're still waiting on a little bit more information. But that 2020 All-Star Game, February 8th and 9th at Warrior Ice Arena.
Here's Anderson shorthanded and across the line with a wrist shot, and Levier the good glove save. Anderson a week ago had a shorthanded tally in the third period against Metropolitan, which had briefly tied the game. So high sticking on Kleinbach at 8:46. We will see Minnesota to the power play. They're still first in the league at 26.8% on the advantage, but they were 0 for 3 yesterday. Connecticut's penalty kill slowly creeping upward now at 67%. But in the last 4 games, their penalty kill has been really solid, just under 90% in the last 4 games. So perhaps one of the first things that Colton Orr wanted to work on with his team, the penalty kill, and it looks like they have been able to, at least for the time being, get back in good shape. And as you know, Erica, having worked these games the last few years with Connecticut, the penalty kill has been a work in progress for a long time.
Oh, for sure. You would hear former head coach Ryan Equali say he liked his team's chances, even strength. It was unfortunately both on the kill and even on the power play where the Whales struggled.
There's a chance from Bouye. Good shot block there by Doyle. Rifled out of the zone as Baldwin unable to keep it in.
And just a reminder for those watching on Twitch, there is still that competition. The more you engage, the more chances you have to win a trip to the NWHL All-Star Game. So we thank you for joining us on Twitch. All of those who've gifted subs, making comments, and if you come in early to the chat on the leaderboard, that all counts to finding the best of the best fans, Phil.
Puck was kept in by Rosenthal, moved down the boards. A little backdoor pass goes off the skate of Payson with 30 seconds remaining in the Kleinbach penalty. 2-1 Whitecaps on top. Good work from Marchand behind the net, but they can't get it out. Held by Martinson. Nearly poked away by the pressuring Sarah Schwensfire. Now a little wrist shot that bounced down low in front. Pinballed out to the line, but a good keep in here from the Whitecaps. Rosenthal working in the corner for Minnesota. 5 seconds remaining in the Kleinbach penalty. Shot in off the boards by Martinson as it was bouncing around a bit. And we're back to even strength here as the Whale get the puck out.
Penalty killed.
So Connecticut continuing their solid work on the PK here in the last 4+ games. Puck is flipped out all the way to the opposing blue line. Here's Menigan trying to toe drag. She gets stood up by Rosenthal. Taken away in the corner by Emma Vlasic. Check that Kleinbach. Worked back along the near side. Vlasic nearly got back to that puck. Taken here by Lauren Barnes. Rink wide dump off the far wall. Beatty pokes it ahead, finding Kayla Menigan. Here's Menigan. Had her stick lifted. Gets knocked down, and Brooke Whiteland-Sett will retreat the puck in behind their net. Barnes is cut off. 2 green sweaters down there. Vlasic and Menigan looking for control as we are down to 8:25 to go. And what's been a pretty quick moving second period in Danbury. Still a 2-1 game in favor of Minnesota. Here's Anderson, Stephanie Anderson, finding Barnes in front. Shot was stopped by Shelley. Poke to the near wing side. Tied up was Baldwin, flipped out of the zone by the Whale, but it goes into the benches. And out of play. 8:07 to go here in the second period. It's still a 2-1 score. Whitecaps lead. You're watching the NWHL on Twitch. 8:07 to play in the second period as Minnesota up 2-1, controlling off the face-off win. Phil Jubileo, Erica Ayala with you on the broadcast as the dump in played by Shelley. Whale looked to break out to center ice, poked ahead, kept alive by Schmid. Little tie-up here along the half boards. It's Megan Lawrence, pass across, shot, and that one deflected just wide. I don't think Shelley got a piece of that. It was a good look in the left wing circle by Schmid, who picked up her second goal of the season. to snap the tie late in the first period. Shannon Doyle coming away with it. Over for Beatty. Flipped up the ice a little too far for Kendra Broad. Catches up to it at the Minnesota line. Gets stripped by Sydney Baldwin. They collide in behind the net. Puck still sits there. Move back to Broad. She got interfered with trying to get to that puck, and they will call that penalty on Minnesota. And they call a roughing call here with 7:13 to go. You could have called that roughing. You could have called that interference on Baldwin. It's a rough, and what we can call it now, Erica, is a Connecticut power play.
Well, there we go. Unfortunately, they weren't able to make good on their late power play yesterday. So here's an opportunity here. And again, this is a close game, Phil. 2-1 in favor of the visiting Minnesota Whitecaps, but the Connecticut Whale have played much better today. They
certainly have. Still down a goal. Penalty time was 12:47 on Baldwin. As the Whale play it in, here's Kayla Mennigan. Straight away contained by Doyle. Doyle lobs a wrist shot in on net. It got through to Levier, who hangs on. Yesterday, Connecticut 0 for 1 on the power play. They gave up that short-handed goal, which really kind of was the straw that broke Connecticut's back, Erica, in that game. It made it a 2-0 lead for Minnesota, and then at that point it seemed pretty insurmountable for the Whale to recover.
Indeed, and they're still in this game now, just as they were in the second period yesterday. Different score, but same effect. But now's the time for the Whale to really act here.
And Thunstrom patrolling on that penalty kill, takes it away behind the Whale net, but gives it right back to Mennigan. Down to 1:20 remaining in the penalty on Sydney Baldwin. Kleinbach to the right side. Mennigan strides in across the Whitecaps line. Thunstrom took it away along the boards, angled off the wall. Regained by Vlasic. Here's Kleinbach straight away for Doyle. Low wrister in front, deflected in on net. That was a good look for Kayla Mennigan. Vlasic from a sharp angle, and it was knocked off the bucket, it appeared, of Levier. Back up top for Doyle. Doyle to the right wing circle. Looks to get it back. Winds hold, settles the puck down, looking for a seam, lobs a wrist shot, and it was deflected wide. There was a hole in that net that was yawning open, but no one for Connecticut to get to the rebound. And Minnesota with a huge clear to keep their 1-goal lead alive.
Yeah, he just didn't have anyone there. That puck fell right to a Minnesota player, and they get a good clear to take more seconds off this power play.
Loose puck, but the Whitecaps can't clear. Kendra Broad with it down to 25 in the penalty. Now Elena Orlando moves it down here. Schwensfire met in the corner by Lisa Martinson. Connecticut's Casey Anderson comes to help out. So does Broad. 3-on-2 battle. Broad scoops it off the end wall. Has Marchinal on the half boards. Swings it across. Orlando with a one-timer save made. Rebound loose in front. Broad put it in on net, but somehow Levier able to sneak across and hang on with 2 seconds left in the penalty on Sydney Baldwin.
Great job by Amanda Levier to recover. She was definitely not in position to make that save, and if Broad had got there just a bit quicker and maybe even had lifted that puck, she might have been able to get past Levier.
Either lift or just get a little more on it. She didn't get much on that. It was kind of, she was striding there, got there a little bit late and couldn't get it under the pads as Marchin, as the penalty comes to a close, trying to blast one from the blue line. It got blocked. And now the Whitecaps out to center ice. A little 2-on-1.5 here. The pass down low for Baldwin was a bit wide, but she'll keep it deep inside the Connecticut end with under 5 minutes to play in the period. It's been a 2-1 game since late in the first period. Back up top for Baldwin. And Shamel had it broken up. Mennigan's played a solid game. Softly ahead now for Grace Kleinbach. Settles the puck down and across the line. Winnie Brown meets her and cleanly strips her from the puck before meeting Mennigan behind the net. Minnesota able to get it to center ice. Coming back for it is Megan Lawrence. Chipped away, though, by Mennigan. Gaining possession briefly. Looked like she was trying to toe drag in the circle, but did not have the puck on her stick. Well, work it in deep. Shannon Doyle pinching all the way, kind of working like a forward on the forecheck. Got it back. Looking for Morissette. The pass too hot to handle. And the Whitecaps get it clear. And there is Shannon Doyle with it for Connecticut. Looking like she wants to take the game over. Here's Shannon Doyle. In across the line, calms the puck down, falls to the ice, working from her knees, and she finds Broad in the corner. My goodness.
That is exactly the type of effort that you want to see. She made, something out of nothing there and was able to maintain puck possession, which that is extremely important for this Connecticut Whale team, who seems to be losing a little steam. The Minnesota Whitecaps are gaining more possession. They're having better chances here, Phil.
And a long rink-wide pass too far for Richards, and we get a rare icing whistle with 3:36 to play in period number 2, and the Caps lead the Connecticut Whale 2-1.
But, going back to Doyle, you really can't oversell how important it was for her to be able to keep on that puck. And as you mentioned, circling around, maybe Doyle is trying to do what Thunstrom did for the Minnesota Whitecaps yesterday. Be that spark, get something happen, make something happen, get the puck on her stick and just find a way to get an equalizer.
Richards into the Connecticut Whale zone, drops the shoulder, puts a shot in on goal. Shelley with the save, loose in the corner. Payson able to get it back for Rosaliva, who moves it down to the half boards. Mennigan, or check that, Schwensfire. Tied up Payson. Payson looks to get it back in the circle, poked it down low in front, but the Whale retrieve it, and it's banked ahead out to the neutral zone. Taken away by Galtieri, squirted through a hit along the boards, fires a rocket that goes wide, and now cleared out the center by Brooke White-Lancette, finding Anderson. Stephanie Anderson from the circle, shooting one, and it went wide. Got it back in front, tried to chip that to the crease. Nobody there for the Whitecaps. They get it back on a turnover on a poor clear out. Down low, Brooke White-Lancette trying to get to that puck and never did get it on her stick. She recovers. Centering pass is broken up, and here comes Connecticut. Couple of good recoveries from the Whale. A little chip and chase up the wall by Mennigan. Kayla Mennigan, sharp angle try. Good save made by Levier. And Martinson takes the rebound. Tied up along the boards. Coming in Lauren Barnes here with 2:20 to go in this second period.
We have got a game.
We do have a hockey game indeed. We saw Doyle earlier kind of take that to the next level a little bit with a chance. And there was Mennigan with a sharp angle try as Kleinbach looks to get that puck back. She does. Looks to chip it for Houston. Broken up. Vlasic there. Finding Houston. Tapped across the line. Looks to retrieve that puck. But Martinson, the veteran, able to get the things. And working around the net back toward the corner for Amanda Bouye. As we're down to 1:50 left in period number 2. Whitecaps lead 2-1. Megan Lawrence moving to the forehand in the slot. Shoots one. Flashing the leather is Shelley. A little Olay there. She makes the save with 1:45 to go in the second.
This has been an exciting second period. We saw a little bit of, discombobulation happening with the Connecticut team, the Whitecaps. You also saw that chance. Brooke White-Lancette just couldn't catch up with the puck. But nevertheless, both teams, even through the flaws, finding ways to get really good chances on net.
Lisa Martinson in the neutral zone will shovel it back deep. This has been a very strong period for the Connecticut Whale. Just haven't been able to light the lamp. They've had some good looks. Bouye backing across the Connecticut line. A little tie up there in the corner. Orlando sweeps it around. Kendra Broad for Connecticut. Here's Jane Morissette now. Morissette lifts it into the Minnesota zone. Scooped up on a bounce by Levier. She drops it off. She's not one to shy away from getting that puck out of her glove. She did it back late in the first period. Trying to keep that clock moving. Shannon Doyle was pinching. Broad hacked that away. Gained by Schmid. Tried to turn back to the forehand. Leads it ahead as Bouye turns it over. Schwensfire moving to the forehand. Lobs a shot in. Didn't get much on it as Martinson all over Schwensfire, who was knocked down on that shot. And we're down to 52.6 remaining in this second period. Still a 2-1 Minnesota lead.
Looking at these comments, a lot of people in the chat like that last save by Sonia Shelley, putting her name out there for an all-star nod.
Unicorn Duke loves a good goalie, but they need a Whale win today, as do the faithful here watching at the Danbury Ice Arena. 43 to play in the period. Skated across by Thunstrom, who got the game's first goal, and all three yesterday. Her shot broken up that time. Pushed ahead for Casey Anderson. Anderson in the neutral zone, moving in across the line. Was she onside with Galtieri? And they let that go. There's a hit out, and the Whitecaps send good body check by Schwensfire. And we get a stoppage in play as a penalty will be called for holding with 22 seconds remaining in this second period. It's on Shannon Doyle.
That's a tough loss for this Connecticut team at this point in the game.
They could have called the body check. They let that go. They get Doyle.
Yeah, and you don't want a penalty period if you're Connecticut, but you certainly don't want Doyle in there. She is able to make things happen, leads the team in block shots. We all know that. Blocks for books is what she's donating to this season, but also is able to contribute assists to the goals when we see Connecticut goals.
Mm-hmm. And she nearly leads in penalty minutes, 22. She's 2 behind Mennigan. Good chip to get the puck out of the zone. 10 seconds to go in the period. Now skated back in across by Baldwin, shooting one. Vlasic got a piece. It's loose in the circle with 2 seconds to go. And spun around the net as the horn will sound, ending the second period of play in Danbury, Connecticut. So the score remains 2-1, Erica, after 40 minutes of play. And very strong second period. It was 16-11 shots in favor of Minnesota after the first. The Whitecaps were limited unofficially to just 8 shots in this second period and a dozen for Connecticut. So just a 1-shot margin at the moment, at least on the scoreboard between these two teams. And you really felt it in the middle 20 that the Whale were on the verge of something, but they just quite didn't get that equalizing goal.
Yes, indeed, and I'm looking down here at the ice as the teams are coming off, because right as time was expiring, you saw that Kleinbach and Boulier, they got tangled up there, and Boulier had some choice words for Kleinbach, but then also some for the officials as well. So not only are we seeing more opportunities it reflected in the shots on goal, but I think it's also we're picking up pace, we're picking up a more physical game as we head into this third period.
Well, we got a lot of good things going on in the chat. Welcome to all of you joining in on the broadcast here this afternoon. You're a big part of what we do on Twitch. You're kind of the third broadcaster, although we have almost 2,000 people watching the stream right now. Stoked Fires guy sharing 5 Tier 1 subscriptions and then sharing rewards to 25 others in the chat. That's just amazing.
We love it. And again, that participation, not only does it build in this NWHL and Twitch community in the first year of this partnership, but also counts towards participation if you're looking to get to that All-Star game. Again, that's February 8th and 9th at Warrior Ice Arena. That's the home ice of the still, as of yet, undefeated Boston Pride.
Obsidian Jeff is still waiting on the second hat trick this weekend from Thunstrom. Well, she was great in the third period yesterday and is a third of the way there after 40 minutes of play. She scored the first goal today for the Minnesota Whitecaps. Sydney KZ 12. It is a 2-1 score after 40 minutes of play. Minnesota on top of Connecticut. All of the scoring coming in the first 20 minutes of action. We had a scoreless second, but a lot of energy, Erica, in the middle 20.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm excited to see what the third period holds.
Third period coming your way in just a little bit. We'll continue to monitor the chat and talk with you there. Erica and I will step aside off the headsets for just a few minutes as they're getting set to play a little chipwich game on the ice. If you have some in your freezer at home, now would be a good time to take a moment, run to the freezer, pull one out. I don't have a cooler with me here. If I did, Erica, I'd be off the headset. I wouldn't be talking now, or at least I'd be talking with a mouthful of chocolate chip cookie and ice cream goodness from Chipwich, one of our fine sponsors, and slamming down a Dunkin'.
There you go.
It could be a hot chocolate. It
Hot
could be a
cold,
coffee. Who knows?
Fire
It could be
and
something.
ice.
Absolutely. So we'll step aside and come back in just a little bit with the third period of play. It's 2-1 Minnesota. You're watching the NWHL on Twitch. assisting on the goal from Emma Vlasic back in the first period, which for a while had the game tied at 1, before the go-ahead goal was scored by Haley Schmidt at 17:54 of the period. And now a turnover in front. Here's Mennigan flipping a wrist shot. That was blocked by Rosenthal. Barnes comes over to take it. And the pass around, finding Chelsea Rosenthal, who looks to get the puck out through center ice. It deflected right back to her. Tapped ahead the other way by Sarah Houston, but recovered by Minnesota. And they get it out to center ice. Lauren Barnes stripped by Houston. Kendra Broad knocked down off the puck. It finds Donovan into the Wales zone. Donovan shooting one, blocked in front. Donovan staying with that puck. Great clear from the low slot by Connecticut's Jane Morissette, who got that out. And now a breakaway trying to drag back for the wrister was Sarah Houston, and she couldn't get this shot off on goal.
Great opportunity there, and snuck up on the Whitecaps there was Houston, but she lost control of the puck just as she was getting ready to make her move on Levier.
Schwenzfire gets that puck out to center ice through some traffic on a line change. Regained by Baldwin, good rink-wide pass. Now from the wing, it's put in on net and held on to by Sonia Shelley on the shot coming from Thunstrom's stick.
Thunstrom still out there swarming, looking good for this Whitecaps team. She wants him to make another Duncan stop.
How do they just not have it on the bench?
Well, at least at the All-Star game in Nashville, she certainly did.
By the way, we go back and we look at second period shots. A little bit different than what the scoreboard is showing. 12-10 in favor of Minnesota. Shots through two periods, 28-21 in favor of Minnesota. So we have some differing opinions on the scoreboard versus the game sheet. The game sheet rules all as Bouye in behind the net looking to get out of some traffic, poked up the wall. Orlando gathers it up in the neutral zone, flipped up, but knocked right back down. And Richards looks to find a bouncing puck in the corner, settles it down, got rubbed off the play by Marchant. Coming over is Thunstrom, tied up by Galtieri with 15:25 to go in this third period. 2-1 Minnesota is on top of Connecticut. The Whale looking for an equalizing goal here early in this third period, as Casey Anderson will take it out through the neutral zone, tried to thread it through Lisa Martinson's legs, takes her out of the play. Well done by the veteran defender, and now Schamel out through center ice. That top line on to the trailer. There's a shot on goal. Big save made by Sonia Shelley as Amanda Bouye trying to get one in on her former team.
Schamel saw Bouye trailing and was able to make that pass. Amanda Bouye, for the first year of this franchise, or in the NWHL, I should say, for the Minnesota Whitecaps last year, was able to really get a lot of points. She's been a little quiet on the goal-scoring side of things as of yet this season.
Came into the weekend second in assists in the league. Mennigan, drop pass, the shot on goal by Connecticut's that was Emma Vlasic. That was stopped. Meanwhile, worked back around to the near wing side. Schmid with it. Poked back toward the slot, broken up. Went through Emma Vlasic, and now out through the neutral zone. It's Schamel again. Glides into the Whale zone. Schamel holds that puck. Sharp angle try, and Shelley will scoop it up. Sonia Shelley, after that early goal, really on her game. Even, on that go-ahead goal scored by Schmid, it was kind of a bang-bang play on a rebound out in front and unable to stop that one. And really even the first goal was kind of a jam play off a shot from Audra Richards, and yet Thunstrom crashed the net. Pass across his shot. That was blocked in front. Fanned on, and a second attempt at the follow-up drifted just wide. Orlando trying to catch up to that puck, and we're seeing some signs of life here from this Whitecaps team in the third period. Trying to buy an insurance goal. It's Sam Donovan. Drop back Barnes, looking in front for Anderson. Taken away by Connecticut. Jane Morissette with some speed up left wing. Morissette in across the line. Drops it to the trailer. Puck sitting in the slot. Marchant comes over. Donovan ties her up. Knocked toward the corner. Donovan regains her footing. Tries to get that puck up along the boards. And now we see a scrum, and it's dug off by Barnes. Rink-wide pass looking for Stephanie Anderson. Chipped back the other way by Hannah Beatty. Knocked in across the line onside. There's a chance from Houston. Save made. Rebound, put it on net. Back-to-back saves coming from Amanda Levier.
Good job there by Levier. Sarah Houston coming in on Levier there. There was a change for the Whale, so no trailer on both of those two shots. Maybe had there been another Whale player, you might have seen something happen after that second rebound.
Oh, there was a wraparound try which was stopped on a good play by Shelley, and she kicked the net off its moorings in the process with 13:21 remaining in this third period. Still a 2-1 Minnesota lead. Face-off will be to the left of Sonia Shelley. Back up toward the blue line. Shot in, kicked away. Shelley with another save. Now Shannon Doyle. Shoveled out to center. Mennigan couldn't handle the pass. Moved back the other way from Richards. Into the Wales zone. Couldn't get it down toward the corner. As Connecticut able to work their way out through the neutral zone. Schwensfire down the right wing. Has someone in front. The pass was broken up by Winnie Brown. Thrown out in front. Anderson jamming away. A lot of traffic in front. They work top of the crease. And somehow Amanda Levier keeps it out.
Oh, my goodness. Nobody knew where that puck was. Just lots of pushing, lots of shoving, lots of bodies. Hoping everyone's all right. I think a few people got tripped up, fallen on.
Oh, Mandy Levier having quite the weekend here in Danbury, Connecticut. You can bring up the Barry Manilow song. Mandy, you came and you gave without taking. Oh, she's not taking anything from this Connecticut team this weekend. The 20-save shutout yesterday, but has had to work a lot harder this afternoon.
And for those who may not know Barry Manilow, but maybe know the movie Can't Hardly Wait, I believe it was referenced in that movie as well.
Ah, there you go. I couldn't sing it. I mean, I could, but it would not have sounded good. We have a good audience today in Twitch. I'd like to keep it.
I just don't know the lyrics, or I'd sing it.
Here's the thing. I heard it. I don't know by heart, but I heard it the other day on Sirius.
Oh, there you go.
I was in my car and it came on. It was like the 70s at 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a chance. 2-0 for the Minnesota Whitecaps in front. Thunstrom put it off the leg pad of Sonia Shelley. What a big save to keep this a one-goal game.
And just before the game, I spoke to Thunstrom. One of the things that she said might be the cause of the inconsistency for this Whitecaps is passing when maybe you should shoot, shooting when maybe you should pass. Maybe that was an example of what she was talking about. You had two players there. It was Richards who decided to give up that puck to the hot hand.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But Thunstrom couldn't get that one past Shelley.
No, and it would be a great question for her after. Was she trying to shoot that puck or give it back to Richards and they just kind of mistimed it? Because it could have been that. Thunstrom has a good shot, and there wasn't a lot on that.
Right.
And Shelley was positioned well. We get an icing here on Connecticut with 11:35 to go, and this faceoff will come back into Connecticut territory. But you talk about Allie Thunstrom has had the hot hand this weekend, so regardless of the rest of the club, 4 goals on the week and a pipe yesterday, that would have given her a hat trick earlier on in that game yesterday, but just an opportunity that, she really missed out on. That would have been a huge insurance goal. By the way, the icing was ill-called, and they're going to drop that puck at center ice.
Yeah, you heard the Whale bench and the Whale fans put out by that call, and their noise was heard. Colton Orr signaling that there was a tip.
Shot from the right wing. That was Rosenthal. Stopped, regained. Or checked that Bouye. Thrown out top of the crease again and again. Shelley with another stop. She has played big here in this third period. Shannon Doyle, slap pass out, trying to time things for the sprinting Sarah Hewson, who picks the pocket of Bouye inside. Tried to feed Jane Morissette, broke it up. And now Minnesota through the neutral zone. Schamel across the line, able to dangle around Doyle. Feathers a pass out in front. And there was a little traffic at the top of the crease that Shelley was able to navigate away from. And we get a high stick advancing the puck with 10:54 to go in regulation. And that'll bring the faceoff out to center ice with the Whale trailing Minnesota 2-1.
We see in the chat that folks familiar with Barry Manilow, more Copacabana, though.
Oh, well, everyone knows Copacabana.
But no Lolas on either of these teams.
No, there's no Lolas on the dance floor today. Or on the ice. Martinson for Minnesota. Shot in, skips by Shelley coming out of her crease. Donovan there in the corner. Tied up by Elena Orlando as the puck comes free. Whitecaps get it back. Barnes looking to center in front. Standing tall there was Marchand. Banked out to the neutral zone by Schwensfire, but Martinson will regain. A little deflected pass and now skated across the line by Bouye. Smothered by Sarah Schwensfire as Orlando digs that puck off the boards, gets it back to Schwensfire, and across now to Marchand, who looks up ice, tried to spring Galtieri in the neutral zone, now dumped out of play with 10:13 to go in this third period.
Connecticut Whale have shown that they can definitely get some shots on goal in this game. Want to see them get back to some of those sets, some of the passing that they were able to put together earlier in this game. They got to get the defense out of the way. They got to get Levier moving. And again, it looked like they were able to fool her shooting up top. So lifting the puck a little more when they do have an opportunity.
Kayla Mennigan in across the line. Mennigan on her backhand, tried to come out in front, got clipped by Rosenthal. Puck at the top of the crease, swung away. And the Whitecaps out to center. Thunstrom trying to sprint out ahead of the play. Richards will take it in across the Connecticut line. Here's Richards, backdoor pass. Oh, put it on net by Payson. Great save by Shelley.
Nice idea there, but Shelley was up to the task.
And now coming in, here's Thunstrom from the slot. Rips one in on goal. Shelley another save, and the Whales settle it down. 9:40 to go in the third period. Minnesota 2, Connecticut 1. And we'll step aside with more coming up in just a moment. You're watching the NWHL on Twitch. And a good block there by the block machine, Shannon Doyle.
She read that so well defensively. You know you've got the speedy Thunstrom, but she also knew there was a player coming, trailing behind.
And another block from the point, that time coming from Broad, and then a trip out at center ice as Casey Anderson was knocked down, and there's no call. Coming up on 6 minutes to play in the third period. Doyle with a long rink-wide pass that was hacked down by Rosaleva. She coughs it up to Sarah Schwensfire, dumped in, but the Whitecaps will start as Winnie Brown turns it over behind the net. Schwensfire got tripped up, and there's no call there.
Oh boy, the crowd is not happy.
And now dumped back the other way, and we get an icing whistled with 5:42 to go here in regulation. 2-1 Minnesota on top.
And you can hear the fans are not happy. They seem to be rooting for one particular Whale player. I won't give them away, but regardless of, maybe not getting those two calls, which looked like they could easily be called trips, you got to keep going. They've got the momentum, playing the Rocky music. Everyone in this building rooting for the Whale.
Mennigan centered in front. Kleinbach poked it wide from between the circles. Now Mennigan gets it back. Wraparound try. Levier stopped that. Schmid looks to skate away from some traffic deep in her own zone. Good Whale forecheck here in the last couple of minutes of this third period. Down to 5:21 to play. Hammered out of the zone by Schmid. Orlando able to get back to that calmly. Tries to tap it by Schamel, does, but kept alive in the zone as the puck flutters to the corner. Loose in the slot, regained, and passed out to the neutral zone by Connecticut as Rosaleva ties up Mennigan. Back in the Minnesota zone, it's looked up the ice. Oh, nice play by Mennigan to knock that down on midair on a rink-wide play. Connecticut gains the zone, shoveled in deep by Morissette. Jane Morissette, along with Sarah Hewson up front. Pass to the high slot, intercepted by Minnesota. The Whitecaps get it out to center, up 2-1 with 4:40 to go.
Important thing for Connecticut is they got to keep moving, Phil. They got to keep those legs moving. Maybe eventually they'll get a tripping call, but all the more they really just need to make sure they're focused on pushing forward and getting something back into their offensive zone, making Amanda Levier work in these last 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Hannah Beatty looks up ice. Kendra Broad looks to center it. Broad gets it back. Tied up by Stephanie Anderson. She falls to the ice. Broad having a little bit of trouble getting her second hand on that stick, but kicked up the wall, using just kind of some fortitude to stay with that puck and gain the zone somehow. Doyle tried to poke that deep, but it's kicked back out to center, and we're down to 4 minutes remaining.
It's getting exciting, folks. Hang on to your hats.
Fun game. You got that. You got another Mets holiday cap on. Speaking of hats.
I sure do.
It is firmly planted on. You're hanging on. Just like the fans here in Danbury, Connecticut. Scooped up behind the net as Minnesota breaks out to the neutral zone and dumped in from the right wing side by Payson as it'll be gathered up by Taylor Marchand. Dropped off for Orlando with 3.5 to go. 2-1 score. All of the goals scoring coming in the first period. Yesterday it all came in the third. And it's been a defensive battle since. Galtieri in across to the Minnesota zone. Pass out in front. Crashing the net, Casey Anderson. Puck is kicked back as she lost her stick. Beatty, backdoor feed. Looking over for Galtieri, but it went behind her. And now across it comes back to Beatty again. Drags a wrist shot through traffic. That was tipped wide in front. Might have hit off Bouye, who looks to recover in deep. Smothered by Anderson. Coming over is Doyle with 3 minutes to play. Whale changing on the fly. Good hustle by Schwensfire to fight through that pressure along the boards. And again, it's Doyle chipping it toward the corner. Minnesota lobbing it out of harm's way. Good play by Beatty to get that back. Here comes Connecticut. Mennigan in across the line. Kayla Mennigan from the right wing side. Mennigan drops the shoulder pass in front. Loose in the slot. Oh, what a stop by Levier. Shannon Doyle had a great look at it.
What?
Now Orlando with a drive, and that one off the mark.
A save by Amanda Levier, Isabel Cup champion, one-time goaltender of the year, making a case for another one, Phil.
Backhand chance from Marchand drifted wide. 2:15 to go. Whale throwing the kitchen sink here. Still in the crease is Shonya Shelley. Hard to believe this is without an empty net right now. That's the kind of pressure they've put in the last couple minutes here. Big drive by Marchand. That was blocked with 2 minutes to go in this third period. And if the Whale can get it deep again, we got to imagine Shelley's going to come to the bench.
See some tired legs out there on both sides, Phil.
Shot in on goal. Shelley with a nice save. Scooped up on the rebound by Schmidt. Right now, she'd have the game-winning goal if the score remains 2-1. Connecticut with it out to center. Casey Anderson through the left wing. In across the line, at it, poked away. Minnesota skating back ahead, Megan Lawrence. Lawrence with a wrist shot. Shelley there. And she holds on with $1:31 to go in this third period. It is still a 2-1 game.
And welcome to anyone that's joining us from that game up in Buffalo. I believe that it's Boston with another win there, but we certainly have a game here, Phil. It is not over, not in the least, at Danbury Ice Arena.
No, not at all. What a game. My goodness.
It's been exciting. Glad to have Phil here calling it like a pro.
And a timeout called here on the ice is Connecticut is going to try to figure things out. Oh, Minnesota using their timeout. Either way, both teams get an opportunity here to get a breather. And we've seen this Whale team grow, and I know it's still 91 seconds left. It's still anyone's ball game here if Connecticut can try to find a way to tie and at least earn a point getting this past regulation. But we've seen the growth. We talked yesterday about the growth, and for them to come back out, 4 defenders, back-to-back games, and for the defense and the goaltending to be as good as it is today, it really says a lot about this team.
Oh yeah, they've got the fight. That's been a makeup and a blueprint of this Connecticut Whale team. Really, I'd want to say since season 2. I know that's when things tilted as far as their record, but the Whale players, including Shannon Doyle, Jordan Brickner, who's still injured, and then Elena Orlando coming from the New York Riveters to the Connecticut Whale in season 2, that consistency, that fight, and trying to play hockey, quote unquote, the right way. They put their head down and they work hard. Now is when they want to continue that and hope that it pays off. They're right there in this game with Minnesota, but they've got to keep digging, Phil.
Big face-off win from Vlasic. Puck banked out to center ice, knocked down by Amanda Bouye. Poked up the wall with 1:24 to go. Hannah Beatty sends the puck up ice, right onto Minnesota's Bouye, who goes D to D, but gives it up in the neutral zone over to Shannon Doyle. Now shoveled in by Mennigan. Shelley at the top of the crease, waiting for the call to the bench as we come up on 65 seconds to go. Good work from Shannon Doyle to poke that ahead. Now Emma Vlasic will wrist it in as it got behind Bouye. Shelley to the bench for an extra skater. 58 seconds to go. Empty net here for the Whale. Kept alive by Schwensfire. Knocked out to the neutral zone. Coming over is Orlando, but an offside whistled on Schmid of the Whitecaps, and that'll bring things back the other way with 48.8 remaining in this third period, and the face-off will be just outside the Whitecap zone.
And that certainly goes in favor of the Connecticut Whale there, getting that offsides. Looks like we're going to get another timeout here, this time for Connecticut. But going back to that, if you're Minnesota there, you don't necessarily want to give up an offsides there. You got time running out. There's a goal. You're up a goal. And now we see, I think we're eventually going to get a timeout, but there seems to be some contention of the call. Here we go. Officially, timeout issued. Connecticut looking to draw something up. Colton Orr has his team huddled.
He's got the whiteboard trying to figure out a play. Face-off will be key here. We'll imagine here that Emma Vlasic will be the woman out there on the face-off. By the way, Boston with a victory, now 13-0 on the season, so they keep rolling, and they're coming in next weekend to take on this Connecticut Whale team.
All the Fratkins.
All of them.
Of course, Fratty wears number 13 with the Boston Pride. Played here in Connecticut, played for the Riveters, but now is in Boston.
Has not suited up for Buffalo or Minnesota. Just figured we get that out of the way in case anyone was wondering.
I'm telling you, we definitely asked her about that once we saw her hopping around by season 3, but she seems content to stay in Boston. Went to Boston University. Terriers.
No one has played for all of the teams in the league. We've not seen that yet.
No more than 3, although Colleen Murphy now enters that company with Fratkin. 3 seasons, 3 different teams for Murphy.
Buffalo, Connecticut.
And now with the
Riveters. Yeah.
Yep.
48.8 to go. Net still empty. The faceoff was in the Connecticut zone. Doyle shoveled down the wall. Schmid looks to get it out. Good glove by Doyle to keep that in. Thrown in deep. Bouye to play it. Tied up behind the net. Able to thread it along the boards. Marchand working back toward the corner. And now wrist to the head as the puck is kept alive by Kayla Mennigan. Moves it across for Doyle. Doyle trying to cut to the left. Pass down low in front as Minnesota looks to get it out. Good keep in there, down to 20 seconds to go. Well, need to get that puck to the front of the net. Marchand tries to do it, deflected wide by the birthday girl, Mennigan. Big hit it along the boards, my gosh. We play on with 10 seconds to go. Puck to the line. Backdoor feed went too far for Marchand. She gets dumped down. Mennigan throws it out in front. Loose in the slot. Vlasic pushed it wide. But this one is over in the books. Oh, we got a scrum at the end of this one between Richards and Vlasic. It is a 2-1 final score in favor of Minnesota, but an exciting hockey game here in Danbury, Connecticut. A great performance in net from both goaltenders today. Shelley for Connecticut and Amanda Levier for the Minnesota Whitecaps.
Bodies going back and forth in the last 40 seconds of this game. Neither team wanting to get the loss here, but ultimately it was the Minnesota Whitecaps that were able to do enough in the first period to get the win, get the sweep. What a game, Phil. What a performance from Connecticut. But I will judge them on this performance by how they're able to translate that going into next weekend, because we said all the fratties are coming in. They're coming to Danbury, and the Connecticut Whale need to take what they got, or the performance that they got here, build on it to be ready for the Boston Pride.
Well, we saw some great goaltending this weekend from both teams. Next week, Luviza Savelander. Luviza Salander comes in. The top goaltender in the league for the Boston Pride. They've got all the top scorers. They've got Jillian Dempsey. They've got Kaylee Fratkin. The beat goes on, as there will be, like they do whenever there is a DIFD game. You're watching it at center ice. They will do the heart formation and take the photo for posterity as they continue to try to figure things out. It looks like they're going to kind of try to get all the black on one side, all the green on the other side.
Well, I think there's some players trying to blend in, but we also have to remember that there were two scrums that just happened seconds as this game was ending. So we'll get the picture. Claps in the audience.
Yep, exactly.
There's no, no one's quite shoulder to shoulder in the picture, Phil.
You got to make nice now, right, for the photo, and then we'll see what happens after.
There you go. They're getting the heart shape, because indeed, even though I'm sure tensions are high, that was such an intense third period. There are things that are more important than hockey, and that is what you are seeing here displayed on the ice.
The DIFD game this afternoon for mental health awareness, and that'll do it here at center ice as they set up for the photo, and now both teams are marching their respective ways at the end of this one. Your final score was 2-1, Minnesota over the Connecticut Whale. Erica and I will be with you once again next weekend, next Saturday and Sunday, as the Boston Pride come to town. Boston coming to visit Danbury for the first time this season. You can watch the #1 team in the NWHL here at the Danbury Ice Arena. Go to nwhl.zone for all your ticket information, but if you're out of the area, you can watch us on Twitch. And that'll do it from Danbury. For Erica, I'm Phil saying so long. You've been watching the NWHL on Twitch. Happy holidays and enjoy the rest of your weekend.